I'm not trying to be mean. I legit feel bad for some free agents that they got such a bad deal. But some people are dumb. And let's just get right to it. Let's count down the top 5 stupidest free agent decisions. Some are dumb from the player, some are dumb from the team. Yo, it's Casey, this is hmmm. Hit subscribe. I noticed like 70+% of you do not subscribe. And let's go to number 5 right off the top, Demar Derozan. The Bulls gave him 3 years, $85 million. Look, it's not that Derozan is a horrible player, but $28 million a year. Did Chicago not just see this guy as a number 1 option on a team that missed the playoffs? Now they add him to a team with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. It'll be the worst defensive big 3 in the league. I honestly think DeRozan would have been a great fit on other teams that need his scoring, but not better defense. The Clippers would be a good example. The Miami Heat. But the Bulls acted like they needed DeMar DeRozan. He was the final piece. They go all in for this guy. Lonzo Ball is going to take care of a lot of the playmaking, so that leaves mid-range 2s as his elite skill. That's not worth $28 million. You know who else makes just under $30 million? Joel Embiid, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Nikola Jokic. And it's not just the money. They traded a first-round pick, 2 seconds, and Thaddeus Young. You know, a lot of what Thad did last year did not show up in the box score. These underrated stats made me go,
Things that make you go,
Thad finished first last year in charges drawn, first in offensive loose balls, 9th in box outs, 15th in deflections. I know it's not sexy like points, assists, and rebounds, but all of those things contribute so much. He won the Hustle Award, which honestly I barely even knew existed. Other winners previously, Montrezl Harrell, Marcus Smart, Patrick Beverley, guys that underdog up-and-coming teams need to survive. That is who they gave up, plus picks and a ton of money. Now with that pick traded to San Antonio and 2 picks to Orlando in the Vooch deal, Chicago has no more first-round picks to trade. They've spent all of them. I'm sorry. If there's something at the trade deadline that you really wish you had, it's gone. If you're gonna go all in, you have to end up with like the Lakers roster or the Clippers roster, right? Not the 8th seed in the East. The DeRozan deal is nice until you look at the details. Now the Bulls' future is one of those teams that's not bad enough to get a lottery pick and not good enough to actually contend, which will be fun to make the playoffs for the first time in like 5 years, but that'll get old real quick. I doubt Zach LaVine will want to stick around for that. Number 4, Cameron Payne. This one is the opposite of DeRozan. It's a bad deal for the player. Just 3 years, $19 million? I know we all thought he was going to get more than that. He was such a good spark off the bench for the Suns' finals run. In Game 2 against the Clippers, he dropped 29 points with 9 assists and 0 turnovers. Absolutely, he should have cashed in, but he settled for a team-friendly deal. But maybe the reason for this was because he was humbled pretty bad early on. He was so good in college that he became a lottery pick. Then OKC barely played him. When he did, he sucked. He was traded to Chicago, and a leaked report said, "We knew the second practice he couldn't play at an NBA level." Damn. He bounced from the Cavs and the Raptors to China. At that point, nobody would bet on Cam Payne ever signing another NBA contract. He said, "It's been a real scary roller coaster for me. I didn't know where I was gonna be, but I have found a home and I wanna stay here as long as I can." So, considering that, I don't blame him, but I still thought somebody was gonna overpay. Number 3, Devonte Graham. Back to the team's mistake, and I just feel bad for actually the Pelicans front office. They were trying to play by the rules, and they got screwed. New Orleans' plan was to land Kyle Lowry in free agency. So they trade Eric Bledsoe to clear cap space for Lowry, and they gave up the number 10 pick to do that. And to get Lowry, they would have to say goodbye to Lonzo Ball, but they were willing to do it. Then the Heat and the Bulls ruined it. They tampered by working out deals with Lonzo and Lowry, coincidentally, before free agency started, and it blew up in New Orleans' face. So as plan C, they got Devonte Graham. Look, I know he's a good shooter, but he is awful on defense, the Pels' number 1 issue. Yes, Devonte is a slightly better playmaker than Lonzo in the half court, but that takes the ball away from Point Zion. Pelicans fans are trying to convince themselves right now, oh, we're better off with Devonte Graham. You're not. You're lying to yourself. It reminds me of when Mitch Kupchak was the Lakers GM. He tried to play by the rules. He was like an old school guy, so he did not tamper. And by the end of Kobe's career, LA could not attract a big name free agent, and Mitch Kupchak was fired. Number 2, Lauri Markkanen. I know technically he hasn't signed a new contract yet, but we don't have to wait. Whatever it is, it'll be dumb. He wanted the most money he could get when he should have focused on the best situation he could get. And what's so confusing is he knows what it's like to be in a good system where he balled out and then be in a bad one under Jim Boylan where he regressed. The San Antonio Spurs offered him a contract and a role in their offense under Greg Popovich, and he said no because of money. I actually don't feel bad for Markkanen because instead of a second chance on his career, he got greedy. Like, it's not about the money yet for him. Like, you still have to earn it, dude. You had one good year and you have to revamp your career. He should have looked for a place that would do that for him, probably on a short deal to where he could get paid again later. That's the truth for him, but he didn't want to face it. But our number 1 player is Dennis Schroder. Before we continue, did Shaq steal my catchphrase? What? If he takes this to TNT, I'm suing. However, back to Schroder. So a lot of people are calling him greedy for turning down 4 years, $84 million from LA and just getting like $6 million from Boston. That sucks. But first, listen to how heartless Robert Horry is to Schroder, and then I'll explain why he's wrong.
You sat there and said, oh, I want to return to the Lakers, but you wanted to play games. And now you are the disaster of your own game plan. You don't know what you're going to do. You probably lost about $60 million because you didn't sign with the Lakers. Now you probably have to sign a one-year deal because I don't think the Lakers are going to bring them back because they're stacked now. They have no room for you. They're already at the cap space, so you're going to have to find another home and try to start your whole career. He wanted to be a starter in this league.
That's
now, wherever he goes now, he's going to go back to being a backup.
Okay, first off, Schroder will start on the Celtics, but to be fair to Horry, he said that before the deal was signed, so that's fine. Second, Schroder was not greedy. When guys turn down contracts like he did to the Lakers, we call it bet on yourself. And when it works, we celebrate them. Why is it that whenever someone turns down a deal, gets paid, we cheer it, but if they get burned, we call them greedy for turning it down? It's dumb. I agree with the approach that Schroder took, but he's got to be number 1 on our list because the fact is he did lose $78 million. God. But you know who got paid? A lot of guys on max contracts, including Kevin Durant. And the reason why he is the luckiest superstar in the NBA is not because of his deal, it is because of his basketball.